I was looking to fight in Toronto, so yeah, I think so. That's what I wanted. So yeah, originally the UFC told me that New York was out of the question, so I was asking if I could fight in Toronto. So that's what I was hoping for. They also said that the year-end card might have been an option, but I've done that so many times, fight through the holidays. I really wanted to fight sooner than later.
Does fighting in New York have any special meaning to you?
I was quoted doing an interview a couple years ago there in Madison Square Garden saying how amazing it would be to be a part of that first card there if and when it does happen. And so I guess in that sense, like, it's been sort of a goal of mine, and I was pushing for that originally, but the UFC was like, no, we don't have any openings. And then an opening came, and I was actually on my way to Thailand already. And I was like, yes, I want that fight. So I actually started my training camp in Thailand, and it was a great kickoff to camp. Some really solid Muay Thai striking over there, and yeah, it was great. Back to the historic meaning. I mean, it's just, I think every UFC fighter, given the opportunity, would want to be on this card. So it's going to be pretty groundbreaking, and I'm stoked that the females are so well represented. There's 3 female fights on this, one of the biggest cards ever in the history, and just really groundbreaking. So it's amazing.
Going to Thailand and working on stand-up, the Muay Thai, were you trying to reinvent yourself with the stand-up after the Nunes fight? Or?
Well, it's just something that I want to continue to work on. Obviously, I have the wrestling, I have the grappling, and the striking is there. I have power. Just want to learn how to deliver it better. So just an element of my game that I want to continue to evolve in.
Have you gone back and looked at that fight, and have you analyzed it?
Sort of. I mean, I just got caught early. It's not really much that you can analyze on a fight like that. There wasn't much cognitive ability in that fight. Once I got clipped with that right hand, I don't really remember the fight. And I mean, I went back and watched it, and I didn't even know that I had shot in the fight. So I really had lost all motor function for the most part, and it was I was just kind of going off instinct, whatever I guess I was thinking at the time. I don't remember, but I was just trying to hang in there.
Is it weird watching a fight where you don't remember doing what you did?
Yeah, it is strange. I really was like, what? I don't remember that. I don't remember this. But it's so crazy. Being rocked that hard, you really lose the ability to you don't have any strength. It was the weirdest thing. And I was trying to grab onto her. I remember that, trying to get my body to respond to what I wanted to happen. It's there wasn't a connection there. It was really, really, really weird. I've never experienced that before to that degree, where you just can't get your body to do what you want it to do. And you're just kind of in and out the whole time. So it was definitely a different experience. Not one I hope to experience again.
How would you say, how hard does Amanda hit compared? I mean, you fought Holly and Ronda, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean, she cracked me a good one. Definitely the hardest that I've ever been hit, So, I got to give her credit, but she really committed to it, I don't know if it's that Holly can't hit as hard, but I think she was maybe more timid of being taken down, and Amanda kind of just went for it, She didn't hesitate, so.
Did the tough weight cut do you think it had any effect on the fight?
I don't know. I mean, it was a little bit harder of a weight cut, but I had a little bit of a hard weight cut also when I fought Holly. So, and I showed up just fine. I don't really know. I can't really put my finger on exactly what it was. I just didn't show up that night. I got caught early, and I wasn't able to get it back. Maybe if I had been able to make it into the second round, that we might have seen, that comeback, Tate or whatever. But she was just really relentless in her attack, and that's all there is to it. So can't overanalyze it.
Sorry.
Very good.
Are you doing anything differently this training camp as far as weight cut to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Yeah, for sure. The last time was that was my hardest weight cut, and I think part of it was it's so silly. It sounds silly, but I drank the wrong water. I was drinking distilled instead of spring, which washes out your minerals, and anyways, it just makes it harder to come off at the end. So but it like I said, I don't think that has bearing necessarily on the fight. It was too early on. Usually hard weight cuts, anyways, you see people typically fade towards the end of the fight, like it affects the cardio. I can't say that it had anything to do with, getting caught, a couple minutes into the fight.
You also mentioned that the cut was difficult because of stress. Was any of that related to being the champion at the time, having a lot more media responsibilities, and do you feel a little bit less stressed now going into 205?
Man, there was definitely a lot that came with it, especially with all the juggling going around and, moving to the main event and all that crazy stuff. It was just like so up and down with the whole card. But I mean, this fight I feel very relaxed. I feel very refreshed. This will be my third fight in 9 months, and 2 of which were title fights, So it's been a pretty heavy load so far, but it really took like a month to get myself back together, and went on a great road trip, and I even got to go over to Belgium and Thailand and really kind of take a breather. Even though I was training, it was just very different, very refreshing. So I definitely feel like I needed that little bit of a break, but it's back to the grindstone. I'm on the path to victory. I can feel it. I'm coming with a vengeance, and I just want to get back on the win streak, and then I might just take a little bit of time to, breathe for a second. I don't anticipate, another 3 or 4 month turnaround. I'm probably looking more like at about 6 months for that, just so I can have like a month or two. In my between this one, I'd broken my nose in my last fight, so it took like all of, 10 weeks to heal that up. So it's a pretty quick turnaround.
Back in 2013, you lost your first UFC title shot, and you took some time to get back into the title picture. You won four fights in a row. Could you imagine yourself taking such a long time to get back? And then at the same time, what do you feel the importance was taking those fights to really, build your confidence, build your skills to get back into the title picture?
Well, I'm not taking time this time, obviously, since it's like, just a few months after. But no, it just all depends where I'm at mentally and emotionally. Like, I feel like after this fight, like I really want to get a win under my belt. Been training hard. I feel good about it. I feel like this is definitely the right decision. And then after getting a win, maybe I can take a little time to just enjoy myself a little bit. Yeah.
Miesha, were you okay with Ronda stepping right back in and getting a title shot, or did you feel she just merits it based on the length of her first title reign, or should she have had to take a tune-up fight?
Well, it doesn't matter what I'm okay with. It's gonna doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I already knew that was what was gonna happen, so I just try not to overthink it. And I had fully anticipated that if and when she made her comeback, that it would be for a title shot. So, given that, it was no surprise. And Ronda for the longest time was one of the best in the world. And I mean, if you want to make an argument, you could say like she had an off night like I did. You know what I mean? So, I mean, she still has a big presence in this sport, even though she's been gone for a long time. It's going to create a lot of viewership. And I guess in that sense, like if you look at it from a business perspective, it makes sense. I don't know what it's going to do for Ronda as far as like where she's at. I mean, what I think, maybe not a 5-round fight or a warm-up fight would be better for her. Probably, because I think ring rust is a real thing. It definitely can affect fighters, and you don't know how mentally she's been so out of the limelight. And I mean, none of us are really involved in her personal life, so you don't know how she's dealing with that loss since then. And I know she's talking about retirement, and that also, I don't know why everyone's so surprised about that. I feel like that was kind of like she was saying that before she fought Holly, that she was like, coming to a close. So, for me, I just want to fight her one more time. And, granted that she goes out there and does well and she wants to continue fighting, I would love the opportunity to go one more time. So hopefully it's not too much of a race against the clock. And I will be watching that fight, definitely vested.
You fought both Amanda and Ronda. If you take her emotional state aside, who do you think is the better fighter, the more difficult? Who do you think is going to take home the win on the 205?
Ooh, that is really, really hard for me to say. I feel like there's so many X factors, and we've just never seen Ronda in this state and been out for so long, and having been knocked out, that sense of invincibility has been clearly has to have been shaken, you know. So what are we dealing with Ronda? What are we gonna get? You know, are we gonna get a better version for it, or are we gonna get, you know, worse version for it? And I question that a little bit, you know, that being that it's taken her so long to even want to come back, and you know, so I don't know, but you know, no, I do believe I have a better grasp on where Amanda's at, and I think that she's at an all-time high, and she's very confident in her ability right now, and she delivers. You know, she's also a ferocious first-round fighter. So I don't know. I can't really make a prediction, but I would not be surprised if Amanda won that fight.
As a fighter, you know the mindset of a fighter. None of us here do. When somebody's been out like Ronda, and then before she even has her comeback fight, mentions retirement, do you think that bodes well for, you know, the commitment, or do you think it really doesn't matter?
I think every fighter's different. The only thing that I can say is that I question how much she really wants to be doing this. And I can say that if you don't really want to do it, then it's going to affect your ability to train and to push that extra bit in training and in practice. If you don't really want to do it, if you don't really want to be there, if you don't, you know, and I'm not saying she does or doesn't, you know, so I can't say that, but I can say if your heart's not really in it, it's kind of a dangerous sport to play with in that sense. So I don't know.
Are you more interested in getting a rematch with Amanda or fighting Ronda again?
Well, it depends who has the belt. Obviously, that's my number one goal. I do want to fight. I want to fight them both again. But I have more of a sense of urgency to want to fight Ronda because I don't know when she's gonna want to not do this. You know, when she's gonna leave the sport. I think Amanda will be here for some time.
And looking at your fight with Raquel, both of you have fought Holly and both of you have fought Katzengano. How important is looking at those common opponents when you're viewing film, etc., when you're really trying to game plan for it?
I mean, I leave most of the film watching up to my coaches. I do watch, but I don't really dwell in, you know, in that. I kind of let my coaches break everyone down, and we do have some common ground in opponents. That's to be expected as you fight longer and longer in the UFC. But her fight with Holly, I don't really use that as a gauge because Holly fights so differently than I do that I don't think that we're going to see the same Raquel, you know, fighting as she would be fighting Holly as she would be fighting me. Holly and I are stylistically just about polar opposite. So that the Zingano fight, yeah, a little bit more, you know, but that was a while ago also. So yeah, I don't know.
So some of us are streaming live right now. You have a huge fan base, many of those being male. Question that's coming up right now. Everyone wants to know.
So you can't get out that invincibility thing. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, I'm kidding. You can't edit that.
Yeah. Oh, all right, sorry.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
But the question that many of them have, it's not related to fighting. They want to know: are you single right now?
Oh, that's a question I'm not even going. It's not even fight related. It's not fight focused. So it's personal life is personal life, and I'm just focused on the fight.
All right, so no dating for the face.
Right.
Got it.
Miesha, you know Raquel pretty well, you know, from the show. Obviously, you've trained with her before. Does that help at all? Is that any kind of advantage, kind of already knowing what she is as a fighter and kind of rolling with her and that kind of stuff?
Well, yeah, I suppose in a way it is, but, you know, she knows me too, so that just depends on how you want to look at it, you know. We both kind of have an idea of what each other's good at and whatnot, but it also has been a while since we've trained together, and I believe that Raquel's the kind of fighter that's constantly evolving. You know, she is a very tenacious person, and I've seen her training when I coached her on The Ultimate Fighter, and she was the first one to, like, really want to train with the guys. And, like, you know, she's tough, she's durable, she's got some great qualities about herself, you know. So there's still a bit of mystery. You still don't know what it's like to get in and fight someone at 100% until you do so. So even though we have trained here and there, and I have coached her and stuff, you know, I can't say that I completely know what to expect when I step in the cage.
Beyond you and Ronda and Amanda and Holly and now Valentina Shevchenko, it seems like there's a bit of a break in the division between the five of you and the rest. In what way do you feel like it's dangerous to take on someone like Raquel who's lower ranked and maybe less known?
You know, I actually see it as the opposite. I think that because she's on a win streak and because she's doing so well, I think it was really cool that the UFC would give me someone of her her accomplishments and everything that she's been doing. You know, she fought Holly Holm to a split decision. That was before Holly was really well known, so I think a lot of that flies under the radar, you know. But it was a very competitive fight, and she's been beating and finishing girls. You know, I think if I remember right, she's on a 4-fight win streak. Is that correct? Anybody know? No, I don't know either. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but she's on a good win streak right now. So she's hot. She's up and coming. She's hungry, and those are the kinds of girls I want to fight. I don't really want to fight girls coming off of losses right now, even though I know obviously mine was a loss. But like for my personal vendetta, like I want to fight girls who are doing well, and Raquel is doing really well right now. She's definitely one of the, I think she, next to Juliana, has one of the best, you know, or you know, right there with Juliana, has the best win streak in the division. So it says a lot that they would match me up, and she's still ranked inside the top 10. And you know, she might be a bit of a dark horse. Some people don't really necessarily know who she is, but I think after, you know, this fight, it'll definitely, you know, even in the loss, you know, I plan on going out there and winning. So, you know, even if she loses to me, I still think it does a lot of good things for her.
How close do you think Juliana Peña is to getting a title fight?
Juliana's close. In my opinion, I think she has every right to have one now. You know, I don't think she needs to do any more. I think she's beaten some of the best girls, and she's never lost a fight in the UFC. She's the first female Ultimate Fighter champion. She's marketable. Like, she definitely has earned her way, in my opinion, to a title shot. But, you know, what you have earned and what happens isn't always the same thing, you know. There is also the entertainment aspect of this, and that part is completely up to the UFC and how they choose to market. So, I mean, I can't argue with that, but at the same time, you know, I would like to see Juliana get in there and get in the mix. I think she's earned it, but they might be looking to have her fight one more time before, but we'll see.
Have you talked to her at all about that? Because last year you were in somewhat of a similar spot where it looked like, for all intents and purposes, that you were the next title shot, and you didn't get it. Have you talked to her at all about that, your experience with that situation? Yeah, we have spoken a little bit, and I told her basically what I told you guys. Like, you're there, you've earned it, I get it, you know, and I don't know what, you know, it's up to her and her coaches, like what decisions they make, and, you know, fights, if they're going to fight more, if they're going to wait and, you know, see if they can get that title shot. But yeah, I can definitely relate, so I have spoken to her a little bit about that. Anybody else? How do you see the division shaking out in 2017? Because let's say you beat Raquel, and you know you're right there for the title shot. You know, Holly Holmes also fought me left in a row, but she's still a marketable name. Then you have, like, you know, the Cyborg fight that people are talking about fighting Cyborg. It's a very, like, kind of an influx right now in the division, right?
Yeah, it's very strange, actually. I have no idea what's going on with the Cyborg thing. Everybody keeps asking me, would you fight her? Yeah, I would fight her, and that seems to, like, irritate her or something. I can't tell. Maybe she doesn't run her Twitter, but seems pretty, like, irritated.
I don't think she runs her Twitter.
Yeah, I was going to say,
not.
whoever runs your Twitter is, like, needs to... But anyways, yeah, it's going to be really interesting, actually. And people have asked me, like, oh, who do you want to fight next? I'm like, well, there's a lot of shaking out to do. Like you said, you know, with Ronda coming back, is she going to stay back? Like, if she loses, if she wins, Amanda, the belt, where's it going to be? Obviously, I would like my next fight to be a title fight. That's what I would prefer. But it depends on a lot of different things. So I just don't want to get ahead of myself. The only thing that I know is November 12th. Raquel Pennington, New York, UFC 205. So that's it, you know, for the moment.
If you were in the UFC, what would you do with Cyborg? Because she doesn't have a division. You know, there isn't a huge talent pool at 145. You know what? I mean, but she's obviously a draw. People want to see her fight. She's dominant. She's a champion. What do you do with it?
I'm glad I don't have to answer that question. That is a tough spot. I don't know. I think they've been doing the best that they can. You know, having a catch weight of 140, and there's plenty of women at 135 that will step up to the challenge and fight her. So I think if she wants to continue that route, or, you know, maybe there's more that can be done to help her get her weight down and, you know, make that final cut. I know she made 139 the fight before this last one. I mean, you know, it's 3 more pounds. It is a lot, but I think with proper diet, like, maybe it could be possible. So I don't know. I guess it really just depends. That is a question I'm glad I don't have to answer.
And you spent time with Chris filming Fight Valley. Did you guys get along? You have some experience with her.
Yeah, no, we got along great, you know, which is, like I said about her Twitter, it's like,
I think someone else runs it.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, no, we got along great, and we've always seemed to get along great, in person. So unless that's changed, it's still the same for me. Yeah, she's actually a really funny person. She's pretty cool.
What other fights on the UFC 205 fight card are you looking forward to?
Cowboys fight. I'm gonna give him a little shout out over here. It's gonna be a good one, and I'm also looking forward to the 115-pound fight. I think that's gonna be a great one. The title fight will be, very fascinating. I love watching Joanna work. She's definitely a machine on her feet. She's a strategist to the core, so she's very fun to watch. I'm really looking forward to that one.
How do you feel about Conor going for a second belt?
Conor does what Conor does, We'll see. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. I always enjoy watching Conor fight, and he's always highly entertaining. So I think it's cool. I like the fact that he's going 55 again. I think that will be a good weight class for him to settle in at.
What are your thoughts on Cyborg at 145? Do you think the UFC should build a division around her? And
No.
Oh,
Well, you asked it a little bit different, but in this no, I personally think that 145 should either be an Invicta or Cyborg should make the catch weight of 140 or go to 135. I think putting a 145 should come behind adding a 125. So in order of precedence, I think a 125 makes more sense before adding a 145. And the depth at 145 is still, it's getting there, but I don't think it's there's enough 145ers to make a really quality 145-pound division yet.
Could you make 125?
Well, maybe. I mean, the last couple times has been really strange. I've literally never had trouble in my life making weight, so I think there were definitely some other factors that had to do with that. Diet has been going great this camp. I'm light. It should be absolutely no problem, but I don't see myself probably coming down to 125, in the near future. Unless it really, is appealing financially, I'll probably just stay fat and happy at 135.
Maybe versus Joanna at 125.
Yeah, right. Well, man, if show me the money, show me the money, and I might diet. I'll only eat half that steak that I just ate.
Any other questions?